Hey there, folks. Just wanted to post a video of my 1978 Mini Trail 50 Honda. Um, this thing's pretty sentimental to me. I'm 38 years old now. My great grandpa bought this brand new in 1978. He had retired from like a General Motors plant, and he had like a food trailer, and he would go around and do fairs and festivals and stuff like that. And he used this to get around at the events. So then my dad bought it from him when I was 7, and I got it for Christmas that year. And I wish this thing had an odometer on it. I really do. If I were to guess, like realistically, I would not be surprised it had 20 or 30,000 miles on it. I mean, I rode the bejesus out of this thing as a kid. We lived out in the middle of nowhere. There was one house around, like in 1 square mile, and there's miles of gravel road just to get to our house. And as a kid, I would just hop on this thing, on a summer day or even on the weekends when school was in session. Get up in the morning, and I would just go on trips all over the countryside by myself. And this thing never missed a beat. I never broke down in all those years. It just bulletproof. I mean, the 50cc Honda, I think they're 49cc actually, to comply with or keep out of having certain regulations like turn signals and stuff like that, and still technically like a scooter. But these 50cc Honda engines, if the information I've read is correct, is the most mass-produced internal combustion engine of all time. I mean, the current pit bike setup, I think, still is based off this design here. And man, you want to talk about nailing it right on the first try. They had this design for many years. The guy that fixed this, his name's Jordan Reich, I believe, over in Anderson. And man, you can tell he's has a love and passion for getting these things going. He has a 71 hardtail Mini Trail 50 himself. He's had since he was a kid, so it's pretty cool. Our sons, but we both had sons named Asher, and it's really kind of a neat story. And Jordan helped me get this thing going again. I'm a mechanical guy, but just by the time I fumble through it and get it fixed, somebody that's an expert, you're really always best, especially if you can find a good one like Jordan, that just really know their stuff. We went through this thing top to bottom pretty much. Didn't get into the casing of the engine, the bottom end, but pretty much everything else was run through. When I took this to Jordan, it wasn't running. It was just crazy how reliable this bike has been. As a young adult, I'm 38 now. When I was in my early 20s, this thing was over at my grandparents most of the time. It stayed there till I moved, or bought a house later on. I moved it back over to where I was, but at the time it was my grandparents, and this thing would just sit in the barn, not climate controlled, anything like that. You go out there and it could sit for a year or 2 years, and you turn the gas on, choke it, kick it over a couple times, maybe once, twice, and it'd fire right up. And we, even as adults, my dad's got a bunch of little scooters and stuff, and because we lived out in the country and go on little trips and stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. People make fun of scooters, but man, you ever seen a person not having a good time on a scooter? There's so much fun. But so, like I said, I bet this thing, and I mean it realistically, I bet this thing has 20,000 miles on it. I would be surprised if it didn't have more than that. They get, like, I can't remember, close to 100 miles a gallon, I think. I mean, they're a very efficient engine, and just bulletproof. I had this thing running a minute ago. I had a GPS speedometer. It was registered in 32, and it was starting to, what I felt is over rev. Like, it had a little bit more left in it, but there's no sense blowing the thing up over a couple mile an hour. So maybe 34 would be end of the world. 35 if you're going downhill, maybe, or something. But put new tires on it. As a kid, I shot out this tail light and cracked it, and so we just had like the mount here for many years. The headlight the same. I can't remember what happened to it. It was busted, so we just had the cone. This is an actual OEM Honda replacement part. The tail light is just somebody had, like one of these companies manufacture a replacement piece. But as you can see here, the number plate, 1978 model Honda Mini Trail 50. Jordan opened the exhaust up a little bit too. There was this piece here, there's a screw or bolt that holds it on. The whole piece slides out. This canister has some baffles in it. but he opened it up a little bit and helped it breathe a little bit, and it seemed to help the low end. I mean, the RPMs, you know, what it's capable of on the top ends, you know, about the end of the world at this point. Original seat, believe it or not, it's got one little tear here that's starting to crack, but yeah, I mean, you fire this thing up, I mean, it just so reliable. It's a great apocalypse vehicle. Asher, I'm gonna have my son go ahead and start. You want to fire this thing up for us? Put the Kickstarter in. Just purrs like a kitten. You want to turn the headlights on, head and tail lights on. They're wired to the front and tail. It's a 6-volt system. The higher you rev it, the brighter they get. Yeah, give it a look at it. You see that. And then the tail light, we do it again after. A little bit harder to see that. Okay, go ahead and shut the light off and kill it. Got a bush in my way a little bit, but so this side here, we have the original Mini Trail 50 rubber cap. This is like or plastic, I apologize. This piece here pops off. It's got a crack in it. I want to epoxy it from the backside to stabilize it from breaking any worse than it has. And this old plastic technology, you know, this wasn't quite there. You see like old chairs and stuff like that from the 60s, 70s. They just didn't quite have it mastered yet, so it's pretty incredible if that's not cracked worse than it is, I believe, you know, in my opinion. Tools are missing. Who knows what I did with those. You know, the seat's got a little bit of tearage, I mean, but not bad, not bad. It's got some dings, some, you know, battle scars, but, you know, it tells a story. I wouldn't want to redo it. It's not bad enough to want to completely redo it. I mean, it's patinaed and still just looks super cool. I think it's just a really great design and timeless.